I am with Francis OMeara, who is a partner with Wood, Smith, Henning, and Berman out of Los Angeles, California. Welcome, Francis.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey into the insurance space.
It started with my mother, who was 4'10",
Okay.
from Japan, born in Hawaii. She played basketball. So I thought, I'm taller than her. I'm
Okay.
5'3". So I'm going to play basketball. So I ended up getting a scholarship to Stanford to play basketball.
Really? Okay.
And my main goal in life was to coach women's basketball, which I did. And then suddenly, as the women's basketball coach, there was some concerns about the finances going to other sports and other teams that I raised.
Right.
Division I, and we only had 2 scholarships. So I said, I'm going to go to law school.
Yeah.
So I worked as a math professor, and I went to night in law and graduated. And then I said, you know what? I like litigation.
Right.
Because instead of the women running around on the court, there's at least 12 in the box, and they don't have to run around. So I started in the insurance business and have been there ever since.
So your primary focus, defense work?
Defense, I'm a certified legal malpractice specialist, which
Okay.
sounds strange. It sounds like I'm certifiable and or commit malpractice on a daily basis. But no,
Right.
I defend professionals for their license.
Okay. Now, interesting. So your firm in general, tell us a little bit about the firm.
The firm is amazing. It has almost 500 attorneys. We're
Wow.
in 40 states. We do primarily all insurance defense. There's large construction and professional liability, and premises liability is the main focus.
You probably see some interesting claims that come up, and especially in the world of premises liability. There's got to be one or two that are just sticking out in your mind. You can't believe this.
Oh, there's so many that I did. But the beauty of doing professional liability work is that the underlying case, like if I'm representing a lawyer, I get to understand what the lawyer was doing. So there was underlying premises liability for the lawyer, or there's underlying tax issues, or there's underlying fraud issues, which are huge, obviously. One of my recent cases that I really liked had nothing to do with premises liability, but it had to do with multi-jurisdictional law.
Okay.
In California, when you are getting your documents notarized, you have to go to a notary. They have to fill out your name and get your driver's license or some sort of U.S. ID, and then take your thumbprint.
Okay.
Apparently, in Virginia, they can do remote notarization, meaning that they can film you remotely, like a Zoom situation. And the person who's supposed to be notarized shows up on a film, hands the camera, if you will, the U.S. government issued ID, no thumbprints taken, and then the notary in Virginia can notarize it as a matter of law, and they have reciprocity with California. So in the case of this remote notarization, the woman was not who she claimed to be. It was the mother of the boyfriend, and they stole her Malibu home.
Oh, wow.
So the FBI comes in and the notary is deposed. And so you have different jurisdictions, and it was perfectly fine to do a remote Zoom notarization.
So how do you resolve a case like that? The home's already taken.
The home's already taken. So the problem was that the mother, whose home was taken, had some criminal issues herself.
Wow.
So we tried to jump on it early, and the irony is she went away. She went away. And her son, who was orchestrating this fraud on the mother, he passed away from a drug overdose.
Oh, wow.
So there was itself, and you never know what's going to happen. So, yeah.
So I remember, I started my claims career, it seems like forever ago, the horse and buggy days, out in Los Angeles, South Central, not the best part of town. And I just remember a tremendous amount of fraud. Now, I worked for an auto insurance company. At that time, non-standard. Now they're one of the biggest in the country, but at that time, non-standard. Obviously not dealing with the cream of the crop when it comes to drivers. Fraud, is it still a big issue in California?
Absolutely. And it's going to get leveled up, if you will, with AI, artificial intelligence. As a trial lawyer, we all see DocuSign. We all have electronic signatures. We have, my favorite one was in 2023 was the Pope.
Okay.
Who came in, and there was a picture of him in a white puffy jacket.
Yeah.
That was the first documented public fraud, because the Pope was not wearing the puffy jacket.
Right.
It was superimposed. Joe Biden voice was on a robocall to people in New Hampshire, and the voice of Joe Biden said, "Don't vote for the GOP candidates," and whatnot. That was a fraud, and that was just this year, January.
Yeah.
So fraud is going to be even more pervasive in the insurance business.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was talking to somebody on another episode about how far ahead the trial lawyers have gotten with things like ChatGPT. And we as an industry are notoriously reactive. People don't like to hear it, but look, I've been in this industry forever, and I can tell you there's a lot of status quo. And we tend to react to things late, often too late. And we've seen things blow up. I'm in Florida these days, and we've seen things blow up for years, right? The trial lawyers have had their way on roof claims and the public adjusters. And there's just a lot of things that have resulted in astronomical premiums. What are we as an industry, between the insurers and the defense attorneys, how are we going to combat what the trial lawyers with how far ahead they're getting? And they're roping in juries that are handing out these crazy verdicts that at the end of the day, our premiums are doubling because they're just better at what they do than we are.
That is my soapbox. Though, because an accident happens, right? Plaintiff lawyer gets involved. The statute of limitations, depending on what state you're in, could be 2 years, could be 4, could be 6.
Right.
That plaintiff lawyer is gathering the evidence, is marshaling the witnesses, is getting all the photographs that they need, and they're ready when they file a lawsuit, and they're going to make a policy demand, no matter what it is. And we are reactionary. That's exactly right. So my big criticism of the defense industry is that we need to collaborate. It can't be a situation of, I'm the best defense lawyer, so I'm going to keep my toys and my tricks up my sleeve to myself. We need to share. We need to collaborate. We need to have banks of expert witnesses. We need to have banks of mediators and judges. Banks of jury selection, jury pools, so that we can actually collaborate and fight the fight. The other thing is that we need more representation, strong representation in reform.
Yes.
Because I hear the plaintiff's bar was responsible for a lot of these laws or these statutes that are oriented, and there's no defense bar that's helping get our side of the story.
And the crazy thing is, we're on probably many social media platforms, and I'll use Meta as an example. I get on various resident pages, and the biggest gripe you hear lately, probably for the last 12 months, is rates in Florida are crazy. They're through the roof. And it's not only Florida, it's every state. Auto rates are up, homeowners rates are up, and every single person without fail is, it's the insurance company's fault. But wait a minute. We have had the trial lawyers, they're on TV every day. And I've been in California. I've lived in California. It's the same. You get your billboards, buses, bus stops. Handing out big checks. I got my client $1 million, $10 million, $5 million. And nobody seems to put two and two together that when they're getting those kinds of awards, somebody has to pay for this.
Right.
It's not the insurance company that's fleecing the money from you. Insurance is a risk-based business, and actuaries count out stuff. And most states actually have excess profits laws that rein in how much insurance companies can really make. But they don't have that for trial lawyers. Trial lawyers can make as much as they want. They can fly around in their private jets, their fleets of limousines, and nobody says a word.
Until then, they have a state bar issue, like Tom Girardi. And the ramifications from his mishandling of things it impact the state bar and all of us lawyers. Now we have to elevate our reportings to the state bar. We now have a snitch rule that we never had before. So again, it's the impact of all of this.
Yeah, and I don't know, and maybe you know better. What's the solution?
To me, it's getting a better and stronger representation in the legislative reforms. And I don't think we even have a voice. Or so one, I haven't heard it, right? The plaintiff's bar is just rolling over. Another is for insureds to be more proactive when an incident happens.
Yes.
And how do you got to teach them that? Maybe the underwriters, maybe we have more training or education on the insureds. How many of them lose the video surveillance because they write it over 30 days? They need to keep it. They need to put it in the cloud base and keep it, right? Simple things like that.
When you think, if you have, and they say that 10% of all car crashes are fraud, outright fraud. Right. And actually, I think it's 10% of all claims. I think that's the actual statistic. Just looking at auto crashes, everyone has a cell phone, an iPhone. So when you have the crash, the logical thing to do is get out and get your company right on the horn, videotape everything, get your pictures uploaded. Right. Because things happen.
Either that or you drive around in your car with a GoPro on your head.
Right.
And you're filming this as you go, because look at the bicyclists. I see them with its GoPro all the time. But you need the evidence. You need to document it, right?
Yep, it's tough. And then you get it in front of juries. Juries are always a wild card. And we're seeing more and more, it seems, more and more juries just handing out these crazy verdicts that make no sense.
I think it's got to come. The pendulum's always got to come the other way. But I think that if the jury's finally realizing, hey, I'm handing out these $120 million verdicts on somebody who's never made 5 figures, if you will. And if they realize it's coming back to them by way of their own premiums, by way of increased prices in goods, whatever, maybe they'll start thinking about it.
Yeah, maybe that's something that we should be allowed to bring up in closing arguments.
Exactly. And they have a jury instruction. You may not consider whether the defendant has insurance. They all know we have insurance. And when you hear them talk after in the post-jury phase, they say, oh, we know he has insurance. Or it's a big corporation. They can afford it, but they're not supposed to consider that.
And it would be nice to just be able to explain to them that when you give out this kind of award, really unjust enrichment in many cases, it's translating into X% increase in the cost of whatever product was involved, or even your own insurance. Now, we could spend all day talking about that. It's crazy. But
we should. And CLM is a great opportunity to get these people together and talk about these issues. And we need to do that.
Absolutely.
Opposed to just letting it happen and rolling over.
Yeah. So, Frances, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining.
Great.
And if people wanted to learn more about your firm, where would they go?
WSHB Law.
WHSBlaw.com.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.